Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu salam, rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tariq Khalid. I'd like to welcome to our program here at Sharjah Media Corporation on Doing Good, and we're doing good, inshallah. And we hope Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accepts the smallest of our acts and forgives us for our shortcomings and our inabilities to fulfill our obligations based on our understanding of implementing this glorious Islam in our lifestyle, and of course imparting it to you in a fashion that is acceptable to all mankind, and that hopefully by Allah's permission that everyone that sees our programs will feel this inclination and will want to be Muslim, and those of us who are Muslims that will want to be better Muslims. And Abdullah bin Amr bin al-As reported or asked, a man asked the Prophet ﷺ, which act in Islam is best? Which act in Islam is best? He, the Prophet ﷺ, replied, to feed the poor and the needy, to feed the poor and the needy, and to greet those whom you know and those who you do not know. And it's collected by Bukhari and Muslim. So today, let's look at what we can do about that. To feed the poor and the needy. What can we do about that? It's something that we can do as a good deed. Let's not talk about tomorrow. Let's talk about today. And now, when I leave the studio, I have to look at this myself. I'm asking you. So I look today, it says, who can I feed today, the poor and needy? I need to look for somebody. This is a deed that I need to look for. What can I do in relationship to the poor and the needy today? And one of the simple things is to spread the salam. And in the spreading of the salam, this saying, assalamu alaikum to the people, that this joins the hearts. And some people said, well, brother, I don't know about that. I says, well, if you don't know, try it. Just think about it. You're down one day, you had a hard day, you're tired, you've been up, let's say you're up late the night before doing some things that you had to do, and then you had to go to work in the morning, and you're running, and you're tired, and you're busy, and you're tired. And then someone just comes up and says, hey, assalamu alaikum. Okay, how are you, brother? How you doing? How you feeling today? How's things going? How would you feel? And especially for someone who didn't know you. How would you feel? Think about it. So, if we spread this goodness, and the salam is actually making dua, it's actually a prayer for the person that you're speaking to. And I remember in the 60s, when we were young, and at that time, there was an anti-war movement in America called the peace movement against the Vietnam War. So everybody used to go around, peace, brother, peace. And people used to use two things. One, they used to say, as an introduction, say hi, they say peace. And also, when people used to leave, together said peace, an example. It became kind of a slogan for young people in American society. And it's a good thing. And this is only part and partial of what we're saying. Peace to you. What does it mean? One of the things is that I come to you in peace, that when I'm greeting you, I have no intention of harming you, that you are safe from me. Some people says, well, that's not a big thing. That is a big thing today. There are many people today who approach you with evil intentions of all types. So we should not take that for granted, and that's a global reality. If you don't believe it, then just look at YouTube and look at all the incidents that come place every single day in some place in the world, and how extreme they may be, where people approach people with bad intentions, out of the blue, on the street, in broad daylight, in front of the cameras. So when you say, this is not a small thing. And then when I say bless you, peace be to you, I'm wishing a blessing on top of that to you. It's not a small thing. And the Prophet ﷺ, he said more or less, the Muslim who makes dua for his Muslim brother, his dua is accepted. So this is a dua. This is a prayer. So think about it. That when someone says this to you, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, may the mercy and blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be on you, that this is huge. It's not small, man. And Allah accepts this. What form of fashion? It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Think about it. You're going to say, no, I don't want that. That would be very foolish, wouldn't it? Yes, I want it. I want all the good. I want all the blessings. And if you can say it again and mean it more and more forceful than you did before, I want it. Give it to me. Think about this. And think about our societies and think about the people who are happy when they're sad, for lack of a better description. You know, you see somebody is always morbid. His face is always drawn. He never smiles. You look at it and says, life must be horrible. God, you know, I feel sorry for him or her. They're always frowning. They have no sense of humor. It's like for them, life is a horror. SubhanAllah. And unfortunately, there are many people like that. Or I've seen people like that. Alhamdulillah, I'm not associated with that anymore, but I've seen it in my lifetime. People that used to have to get high every morning before they went to work. They would say, well, you know, I just take one drink, or I just have to smoke one marijuana cigarette before I go to work, just to get myself on track. And this is men and women. And there are millions of people like that globally. To get their day started, they have to start with some means of intoxication, whether it's a pill or whatever it might be. Think about that, how horrible that is. How thankful we should be to Allah that we start our day praying to our Creator, our Sustainer, asking Him to make this a great day for me. Make this a day of blessing for me. That if this is a day where my soul is going to be taken, that it is taken in forgiveness and mercy in a good way. This distinguishes the life of the believer who is steadfast in his belief system. So we're calling everybody out there today, start your day in the morning by praying to Allah. First, a Muslim, non-Muslim. Muslim, you know what your obligation is. You have to pray Fajr. And the Prophet ﷺ said more or less, whoever prays the two cold salats will enter Jannah, Fajr and Asr. So pray Fajr and Asr and all the rest of the prayers too. We're not saying you don't do that, but it's mentioned about these two. And of course, we know in the morning it's very difficult for people to get up, isn't it? To get out of bed and go and pray, and particularly go to the masjid and pray, depending on where it is that you live. The masjid may be very far. The weather conditions may be difficult also. So the reward is very great from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for the believers, get up out the morning and pray Fajr. Worship your Lord the first thing in the morning. Prayer is better than sleep. Believe that this is the way to start your day, that you're making your day. You're building your mansion, for lack of a better description. You're building, the way you start off your day is related to your Jannah, your paradise. Think about it like that. And I'll give you another perspective that some people might think is extreme. People say, well, brother, you know, you're kind of morbid, brother, you know, because you old guys like that, white beards, man, you know, you got one grave, you got 1 foot in the grave. So you always talk about the grave, brother. I'm cutting the television off. I don't want to hear you. But let's deal with this reality. Many people don't want to do that. But let's look at 6 foot by 6 foot. Okay, your grave is 6 foot long and 6 foot deep. And that's it, as an example. And if you got 6 foot wide, okay, that's fine. So 6 by 6 by 6. So let's put our life in that perspective, that everything that we're doing now is related to that 6 foot. Think about it. And what I say, what I do is related to that. What I'm sending is related to that. So whatever I'm doing, Allah is aware of what I'm doing in relationship to that. Either I'm sending something positive in relationship to 6 by 6 by 6 or something negative. So my day 24/7 is related to that space. That is the real space. It doesn't matter what space you live in today, that ultimately that's the space that you're going to. Now, the question is, what do you want to do with it? Let's look at the people. This is 2018. Look at the people who died in the year 18. They've been in that space for 2,000 years. Let's just talk about that reality. There's other reality, of course, that goes much further back. We don't know how long since the first man, since Adam alayhi salam, we have no idea. But let's just look at these 2,000 years. That how many people are in that space today dealing with that reality for 2,000 years? So what will be our condition? Right now, if we're aware of this, regardless of our capabilities, that we're basically dealing by 6 by 6 by 6, more or less, how do I expand that? Now, we have these people who are architects and engineers and all kinds of planners today of every type we can conceive of. But very few people are talking about this kind of planning. Why? Because most people are afraid. They don't want to deal with this reality. But my suggestion to everyone who hears this program, work with this so that you start to become comfortable with it and you become focused on it. The companions of the Prophet, some of them dug their graves and they used to go lay in them from time to time. People say, oh man, that's crazy. Well, they wanted to try to get some reality now before they went there of what they were going to be faced with and what are the things that I need to do to accommodate myself. The things of this world won't help you. I saw someone sent me a clip recently about some guy, he died, and he had all the things that he had in this world were being put in the grave with him. His fan, his motorcycle, all different things put in the grave with him. That's not going to help you. Deeds and actions of this world, that's what's going to help us. So we need to look at that. You people out there who are prospectors, salesmen, engineers, architects of one type, and I'm just using this terminology, engineer and architect, it can fit in many different categories of speculation, of speculators. We have a tremendous number of speculators today. That is, these are the people who are pushing this modern technology and society that we're in to its limitations or limitlessness. But let's look at it from a different perspective. If you understand who is your Lord and the limitations of this world and how the hereafter is unlimited, then what are you doing now to prepare and to send, to be proactive ahead? The effort that people are making today to become millionaires and billionaires, the effort that people are making to possess and maintain properties in huge buildings and huge properties, what are we doing for 6 by 6 by 6? How do you expand that? By buying a big piece of property and saying, okay, I want this to be dug with a bulldozer and put my casket or put me in this huge space like this and just cover it up. Would that help you? No. That won't help you. You have gone back to this physical limitation, the limitation of this world. You have no consciousness of the hereafter, which is a different dimension. And to understand that dimension, you need to study. Just as you studied all the things of this world, you need to study it and understand it. And once you understand it, then you can prepare yourself for it. So your good deeds now are not just so people say, oh, he's a good dude. You know, he's a philanthropist. Let's give him a plaque. Let's have him on TV in front of the screen and talk about the good deeds that he has done. And we're not saying that that should be a deterrent or that a person should not do that. But we're saying that that should not be your primary concern. Your primary concern should be that whatever I'm doing now is going to harm me or benefit me in 6 by 6 by 6. That's right. Simply. And how do I do that so that that dimension becomes expanded? That I'm not limited. The Prophet ﷺ said more or less the disbeliever in the grave will enclose him, so much so that his ribs will be like this. Think about it. But the believer, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will cause his grave to be expanded. And the breezes from the paradise, the smell from the paradise, the perfume come into his grave. So his grave will be like a garden in paradise, and his time in the grave will be very short. Whereas the disbeliever will be punished in the grave. So we have choices now. So those people out there who are planners, think about this. It doesn't matter if you're not a Muslim. It doesn't matter if you hate Islam. Really. Doesn't matter. If you say you hate Islam, if you hate me, you don't like this guy who's out here always talking this stuff, fine. That's okay. Listen, people every single day go to a job that they hate. Why? Because they need income. People every single day deal with people that they hate to deal with. Why? Because of necessity. People every single day go into environments that they hate, but because of a set of circumstances, they have to do that. So what I'm saying to you, that this is a set of circumstances that you will not escape. So you may not like hearing it from me, okay? There are many, many people out there who are better than me, much more knowledgeable than me, can present it in a different fashion and maybe in a way that is more acceptable to you. But my suggestion to you is don't be limited by your own prejudices. Open your mind and pursue this truth. There were people who came to the Prophet ﷺ who were Jews, who were Christians, scholars. Yes. This has been hidden from many of the people, and I'm using particularly Christians and the Jews, and also idol worshipers, who were the supposedly knowledgeable people among the idol worshipers. This is hidden from people today, purposely by the same people who were against Islam, to keep people who are following these particular denominations today from knowing the truth about what happened. And those people came and they asked the Prophet ﷺ many different questions based on whatever it is that they had knowledge of. And he dealt with those questions. And among those people who were among the leading people of that time, many of them accepted Islam because they knew that the questions that were answered by the Prophet ﷺ could only be answered by someone who had been divinely guided. So who are we to deny that today with all of the information that we have? Why is it that we still want to stay in darkness? My name is Tariq Khalid. I want to thank you for joining us here at Sharjah Media Corporation on Doing Good, which is the light for those who are still in the darkness. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.